All right, I'll see you in bed.
Okay.
Mm. The essential flow, the flow of consciousness throughout the world, the flow of life's events, is often seen as if it was a video. But an easier way to understand is as if it is a series of photographs rather than a movie. Of course, in truth, a movie is a series of photographs. But the way you look at your world, you observe an event or circumstance, and of course, everything changes very slightly, a fraction of a second later. And you put down the first photograph and observe the second. And over the course of a period of time, there are many photographs in the series. But the way you observe the present moment is like a photograph. You pick it up, you observe what is happening, you put it down and pick up the next photograph. And as a consequence, the old photographs are gone, the present one is being observed, and the future ones are yet to arrive. So the conscious state observes what it is that needs to be watched, puts it down, picks up the next. And for those which are unaware of this, it is exactly the same at the end of their lives. They let go of one body, and without true understanding, they can pick up a second body within a very short period of time. But those with a degree of awareness will have a pause between the end of one life and the beginning of another. And this is the way the continuation of birth and rebirth follows a pattern. With every end, there is a beginning. With every beginning, there will be an end. If something starts, something will then eventually stop. Perhaps we'll refer back to this a little later. You see, as you come to my world and you watch the flow of lives, it is with the understanding of yourself that you step away from the continuation of form into the realization of your spiritual self. So the work that you do today determines the degree of pause between one life and the next. But it also determines the way the memory of the old life flows into the new life. And this is why some have memories of previous lives. For a short while, at least. But you can step away from this cycle. Not just for a pause of minutes, hours, or days, or years. But more permanently. As you step back from the desire or needs to have a body, a human life, into the understanding of your true spirituality. The process is as simple as practicing death by calling the great Almighty Spirit, by working with your own true spirit and not your egoic way. From the stepping away of the desire for physicality into the truth of understanding beyond your physicality. Great mantras, periods of dedication, the clarifying of heart and mind. The desire to serve others. Are all practices and others which will take you past the need of self into the truth. So let me tell you a story. Let's imagine you brought a brand new car, one that you have desired for such a long time. And you drive the car for the very first time and take it from where you purchased from to your home. And as you arrive at your home, you realize your garage is full of old newspapers, broken machinery, car tires, old clothes. The garage is full to the brim, and you cannot park your car inside. So you have to leave your car outside. Now you would say to yourself, why do you not remove all of that rubbish and place what is important to you inside the garage? It would look plainly obvious. That is what should happen. And if you came across this person, you would say, Why do you not clean away your rubbish? And yet the person would hold on to all of these items just in case. You would know yourself if you ever move house. There are many boxes which remain to be unpacked for some time after you move into the new house. What is truly required? You see, this is not an analogy about a house, a car, a person that likes to collect rubbish. It is about you cleansing your own mind. If you could say to another person, why do you not empty your garage? Then why do you not empty your mind? Why do you not put into your mind what is most important and what you most need? There is always a reason to start your spiritual practices tomorrow and not today. A reason to get up from your spiritual practice of the moment and go and collect a little bit more rubbish. You would have said to me a few minutes ago that you would not necessarily want to follow the path of rebirth, particularly instantaneously. What effort are you making towards it? How clean is your garage? Everyone looks for that magic little pill that would take them from illusion to clarity. From a viewpoint of body to the viewpoint of spirit. Now, the magic pill, of course, is actually available. But it does not take a matter of seconds for you to make that switch unless you've spent many times reaffirming your truth within your being of self-understanding or meditation or mindfulness or prayer or whichever practice you pick. So put your car in your garage. And if you so wish, put the rubbish in second. Put what's important in your life first. And life will adapt. Watch how you say to yourself, I want that spiritual progress, but at the moment, I think I will just watch the television. So today, I offered myself and all other personnel open to you to ask any questions you would like, and we will get to those in a moment. But of course, we always begin with our healing list, and may I have those names now, please, Brand?
Yes. Vince, Craig, Karen, Jasmine, and Chantel, Mrs. Hayes, Greg, Angelina, George, Andreas, Stephanos, Irene, Stella, Dimitri, Miria, Larry and Nancy Rice, Ruben and Laura Rice, Daniel and Chantel, Jennifer, Mark, James, Kieran, Libby, Adrian, Heather, Mike, Pauline, David, Pia, Teresa, Denise and Steve, Erica, Mary, Tracy, Eric, Stephen, Matthew, Jill, Katie, Mitch, Marianne, Jody, Bobby Bonner, Dog Jules, Stephanie, Joyce, and Barbara. Thank you.
Let the water one run clear and deep. As I said, we are offering ourselves open for questions. So does anyone have a question you would like to start with?
Yes, this question comes from Angelina, to whom you know. This is for you. I feel we are symbolically drawing together aspects of our soul. The symbol I see is a pyramid. All aspects of the pyramid need to be aligned for the rebirth, the transformation to allow this energy to enter at the tip, the top, the nothingness, and the everything. So with that said, would you please expand on the importance of rebirthing from our own ashes as we come to the ending of this year that has been very demanding for many, to prepare for the new earth challenges in the next 2 years to come? And I quote, 2 years. I have been very aware of the quality of these new energies, giving us potential choices of growth. This is the key of the heart that I believe. Thank you, Ignatius, my friend.
Indeed, over a period of time, there are many challenges being faced now and in the near future. Those challenges are important. They will not affect you, but you will be concerned by them. Like the great gurus, they observe everything but are concerned with nothing. The challenges that become evident, the ones in recent times and the ones in times to come, are to bring into alignment the heart of man to the desires of the spiritual world. Much of the energy in the earth at the moment is causing agitation within the minds of many people. Excess energy in the earth causes excess energy in the mind. And excess energy in the mind then promotes excess energy in the earth. But this is the cycle to what I referred to in the opening. The observing of man, the opening of heart, and the desire of heart to express itself truly. You are in the phase of opening the heart. And I mean that plurally to all and not just to the questioner. Your heart calls you to serve it or expression. As the mind becomes challenged, the heart then is required to shift, to open. So the flow of excess energy, of course, goes through the mind. It will go through the heart and then down through into the earth. So unless your heart is capable and ready to open, that energy will bypass the heart and go from head to earth, from the top of the pyramid to the sandy base. But it is by being pure of heart and open and allowing the expression to come that the awakening happened. So if you are a person that is challenged of heart, you will either wake up or you will not. The closed, restricted heart flow will mean that those that do not use or exercise the heart truly will never fully step into the new tomorrow and will be retained in the old earth and not the new. Now, this has been spoken about many times. The time is dawning. You have matters of short periods now, not forever in the human sense. The urgency is picking up. The reminders are being given more frequently and from more sources. Let light into your heart. It is through this heart, the liberated, bright and light heart, that eternal life is truly achieved. Use it or not. Succeed or not. Repeat or become new. Practice now, because in years to come, the results of your practice will be evident. I believe that is quite a direct response. But not just to one, but to all. Time for my lighthouse to be the light. God bless you, my dear. Is there another question?
Indeed, it was. Thank you. Dave, would you like to unmute yourself and ask a question?
Okay. Hello, Ignatius. About 30 months ago, I was told that I was a hair's breadth away from more major spiritual development, if you like. And up until now, there has been development, but I don't think at any advanced stage. Is there anything I'm doing that is blocking development, spiritual development?
If you think of yourself already as a pure spirit, my friend, then the hair's breadth is no more than the veil which blocks one side to another. And of course, fairly recently, talks were given through the medium and through myself where I expressed that the egoic nature of man is no thicker than a bubble, but if you would like the hair's breadth, of course, the analogy is still the same. You are still a hair's breadth away from your truth. Your viewpoint between either side of that veil is where you could change or improve your progress. So if you concentrate on the block, what is this block? How is it working? Why is it working? Why do I have it? When will it start? When will it stop? Then you'll do no more than reaffirm that block. And this is why, for some, a journey into psychosis just promotes or enhances the problem that that therapy is trying to resolve. So spiritual progress is not concentrating on what is wrong, but what is true. So a true development of psychosis is to say, yes, you have the problem, but what else do you have? And who are you in truth? And the solution for you is also stop looking at what is wrong and start concentrating on who you are and what is true with you. So it is like imagining what you don't have, rather than accepting what you do have. And the mind, of course, will make a million things that it does not have. Money, time, etc. Place your energy and focus onto what is right. Your spirituality, your spirit, your soul, your ability to be here and be fully here is exactly the same answer with those struggling with meditation. Concentrate on what is there, not what is passing by. And eventually what the clouds will disappear to reveal the sky. So in essence, your answer is you are reaffirming your block. And your solution is to stop looking at what is not and look at what is. Spend some time. Notice your true self. As your mind wanders, come back. You see, you have not lost anything. And in truth, there is nothing to be gained. It's just the clarity that dawns. You are indeed a hair's breadth. Which side of that hair are you? That is your question. God bless you, my friend.
Thank you so much. It's a great answer, and God bless you too. Thank you.
Do you understand my answer?
I do, and I will, as always, replay the recordings and each time receive a bit more information, a bit more understanding.
There are some people in your world that, particularly at this time of year, dress up and put on a disguise, isn't there?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm referring to?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Which is true. The disguise or the one wearing the disguise. That is also your solution.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Is there another question, Brad?
Yes, there is. Matthew has the next question.
Hi, thank you. I believe you've kind of answered it already in regards to where you started, but I'll proceed. My question is about this sense of separation we experience, or differentiation, possibly looking at along the lines of the terms Atman, Buddhi, and Manas, soul, intellect, and mind. In these trans-mediumship demonstrations, when the medium relinquishes mind and another personality comes into expression, upon the return of the medium to this state of consciousness, there is mention of a state of love and peace which clearly transcends the mortal senses and human condition. For the average person, if they were to be temporarily free of bodily sensations and distractions, free of worldly desires and attachments, as well as being free of thoughts and the false sense of identity, for most, they would just consider this a state of peace and quiet in the mind, a stillness which pervaded their normal existence. I think my question is in regards to the veil, or the sense of separation between mortal consciousness and this state of love and peace which transcends it. At what point in consciousness, maybe using either Buddhist or Hindu or Christian terminology, or even using everyday parlance terminology or teachings, does this sense of separation or differentiation occur and allow one to experience or abide in that which the medium refers to upon return?
In truth, of course, what is happening is, again, using the medium's story. I have to be careful that I do not wake the medium up. But what is happening is not that the medium is gaining anything. It is not that the medium has gained peace or clarity or anything else. It is rather that the medium has let go of that which does not serve to reveal the peace, or whatever word that you wish to use. It is not that it is not available for you. Of course it is. just that the progress or the ability maybe has to be learned by some, realized by others, dusting away the confusions of the mind. In essence, I think the future question that will come soon will clarify your answer when truly understood. The question will be understanding the true basis of this truth. Now imagine, my friend, that the earthly world no longer appealed to you. Imagine it held nothing of interest. Rather like reading a story that you perhaps don't quite like. But out of obligation, you finish the book. So it's stepping away from the earthly world or letting go of the earthly world because it holds no interest for you to come back into what is beautiful. And this is why often people describe spirit or spirit world as being immensely beautiful with colors that you cannot understand. It's moving away from the limited to the unlimited. Taking off the disguise, if you like, to reveal the actor. Dusting the letters off a page to reveal the whiteness of the paper. And of course, in truth, it connects to the previous question. What are you focusing on? The paper or the print? The experience or the foundation? Where does that experience come from? You could follow this as a bubble with thought. Where does the thought come from? Follow it backwards rather than chasing it forwards. So the essence of your answer is tied up in which disguise that you wish to wear. The projection of illusion or the truth underneath. So the medium isn't gaining anything, but losing what is not true. Is that not death? What looks like a mere few seconds or minutes at the very end of these talks has been because of practice over time. The clearing away of the rubbish in the garage. So, of course, the steps are in that direction. Not from a physical movement, but the clearing of the eyes, the spiritual eyes. I will come into your dreams to explain it deeper if you wish. I enjoy your mind, my friend. God bless. Another question, Brandon.
Thank you for that, Matthew. Next question comes from Malada.
Hi, Ignatius.
Hmm.
So my question is that it appears to me that the words consciousness, enlightenment, awakening, awareness, and many others are used interchangeably by many in our world.
Hmm.
But I believe that there are subtleties that the spirit world is aware of and many of the great teachers are aware of.
Hmm.
Could you speak about that a little bit so that I can understand better?
Indeed so, Kripa.
Thank you.
Hmm. Let's imagine, or picture if you wish, a river. A river flowing from the mountain and eventually arriving at the ocean. Now, the river, of course, is defined by the banks. The bank of the river gives it the form that it must take. But of course, the water is not requiring of a bank, but that just aids the flow and direction. Now, in this river, at times there are rocks and branches. And if you were to stand on the bank of the river, you would watch occasionally a leaf drift by, a fish do its work, a few bubbles here and there, and the river flow around rocks and obstacles over waterfalls, pool in lakes, and then carry on its journey. Now, all of these obstacles are within the river. And those obstacles, of course, are, in this case, metaphorical of your life. And the banks of the river is metaphorical of your body. So the body holds the river, but is not the river. The river is metaphorical of consciousness. It flows from wherever it begins to wherever it goes. It is not disturbed by the rocks, the branches, the fish, the leaf, or anything else. But they exist within the river. And to some degree look like they are part of its nature, but it is not. But the awareness of you standing watching this river is limited to whatever you can see, what is in front of you. The branch that flows from source past the eyes of the observer and then goes along its way. You only view a small periphery. And you see more often the obstacle rather than the river. So if consciousness is like the river, awareness is like the current, the intention, the flow. It comes with a little knowledge. So the truthful answer for you is whenever somebody mentions these phrases, of course, they should provide to you a description, a meaning. This is what I mean by this in this talk. So indeed, as you say, consciousness and awareness look like they are two intrinsically linked things, and indeed they are, but they perform in different ways. Consciousness needs something to observe, an object. So like the movie analogy I have given before, consciousness needs to sit and watch the play. But awareness exists outside of the play as well. So let me give you one more analogy. If you heard that cough, your consciousness arose, heard the cough, the two intrinsically linked. And once the cough stopped, consciousness resided. If you used your awareness, you are still aware beyond the end of the cough and before the beginning. So the flow of the river, or the intention of the river, is to flow along its way, regardless of any disturbance, exist before a body and after a body, has no requirements of something to observe, is always there. But the consciousness arises to watch and then resides at the end of the watch. So with consciousness observing whatever organ is used to observe, ears or eyes, and the object are all linked together. Now let us take it one step further. With consciousness, you get the Holy Trinity. With awareness, you go beyond. Now, this answer, of course, may be a little deep to understand. And that is why a while ago I said, let the water run deep and clear. And this truth answers the two other questions in other ways. How clever. So enlightenment, my dear, truth, is the realization of this. You are not the obstacle. The river is a verb and not a noun. The banks are the body. Is my answer sufficient for you, my dear?
Yes, I think so. I think it's going to require more contemplation, but I believe it's definitely sufficient. Thank you so much.
Well, with contemplation, you bring your consciousness to the problem. Now, in your meditations, and please correct me if I am wrong, but in your meditations, you observe things around you, don't you? You are
Yes.
aware at times that something's here and something's there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, that is your consciousness watching it. If you let go of the something here and something there, what is left behind? It's like a watching and waiting, isn't it? So you're watching and waiting, but there is nothing to see. Step beyond the experience of something, and that's what will give you your truth. Do you understand that?
Yes. Yes.
Well, in the physical world, when you come into birth of the body, you come to observe. You watch the world. Would you watch, let us say, something joyous or something painful? And in watching it, many people think I am it and say, look how disastrous that is, or how wonderful that is, and they are lost in the physical world. But consciousness must be there to observe it, otherwise there would be no conscious and nothing to observe. So, of course, the word awareness is very subtly different. There is not a true word for awareness in Sanskrit. But consciousness is vinana. Vinana. Subtly very different, but fundamentally interlinked. The ocean or the waves,
Mhm.
the stillness at depth, just being ocean. But consciousness observing the waves on the surface. So go past the experience and follow the thought backwards. All four questions are interlinked, particularly the last three. Interlinked into what is true. Brandon, does the questioner's mind look a bit confused?
I think we had a lot of very deep questions and very good answers from you today, Ignatius.
Do we have time for one more?
Indeed, we do. Last one goes to Michelle.
Hi, Ignatius. How are you doing?
Rather well. How are you?
Okay. I
How
think
is
what
your
you're
back?
not good.
I can see.
It's just I have to deal with it. But it's interesting because what you were just talking about, it kind of like the light bulb just went on out on my head, because I've had a really interesting experience where, and I think this plays with consciousness and awareness, because basically I did something this weekend, moving and everything, and I got very hard on myself about it. And then I was sitting there and I just kind of looked away from it, and I felt like I was like two separate beings. My body was a human and my spirit was like looking at each other. And I was like aware of what I did. And I just kind of laughed at it and said, oh, this is your experience. You have to learn to get over with, to get to on to the next adventure or whatever. And it was like a play of both bodies. It was like very weird. It was like I was like I have the devil and the angel on both sides of your shoulders. It was like two bodies like talking to each other. And it was like you said, like it was like the consciousness was aware, what the doing, and then the awareness was aware of what the consciousness did. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just wanted to say, does that happen as you go further along on the track, where you start seeing your body do things and you watch it? You're like sitting here watching it like you're watching a movie, and aware that as time aware that you did it because that's at the time you needed to do that to learn something. I don't know if I'm answering this question or giving this question very well, but I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Well, in essence,
I'm trying to
you've answered your own question, haven't you?
Well, I was just curious because I was listening to what you were saying, and it says, oh wow, that kind of links to what I was dealing with.
Yeah. When you sit in meditation, and I mean the you generally, when people sit in meditation, of course, to begin with, they are very much aware of the outside world. And then after a little while, they become aware of the inside world, that they are breathing, that their skin is hot and cold. And as they sit a little bit further, then the body begins to disappear. As in, they are no longer focused on the body, and perhaps are aware that they do not have a body at this stage. But the awareness that I referred to was aware that somebody was watching. So right now, you can be aware that you are watching something or listening to something, which is what you did. You became aware of the body performing bodily tasks, whatever that was. So you stepped your awareness one step backwards. And the body then becomes rather alien. You watch it and you think, who is that? What's going on? And as you watch it bubble along, then the exploration needs to be, who is it that's watching this body? Best described in a little Christian term. The process is, I am that, then I am, and then there is nothing. Each part of this process relates very well, of course, to the chakra system. The stepping away, one step at a time, away from physical, into the understanding of something more, something deeper. If you remember my descriptions of spiritual growth, trapped in physical, understanding the physicality of the world and what I need to learn, and having more and more experience, then taking a step back and realizing, well, the experience is not going to take me where I need to go. And then you begin the journey inwards. And the inwards part gradually lets go of the outside world. It goes in deeper and deeper, beginning to merge with other bodies, or other souls, I should say. And then, within the blip, step into spirit, away from soul. So your analogy is true. Your vision, if you wish, is true. You stepped away. You saw the clarity. And to take the analogy of a hair's breadth, you can see one side is caught up in physical and the other side is separated from it. Place your attention there, not in the rocks and boulders within the river. And a little while ago, in fact, it was only last week, I passed on a message to someone, to yourself, that said, stop looking at the experience and look at who is it experiencing. You had the answer before you asked the question. A week apart. Follow your path with joy. And joy will be your path. Brandon, I believe our time is done.
Yes, it will be some time before we see you again. So on behalf of all of us, we appreciate all of the guidance that you have given us. So many thanks to you, my friend.
How? I follow the path of joy. And the service is the joy.
Thank you.
God bless you all. Hmm.